You know, this was one of the most fascinating stories I think I've seen on Real Sports since I've been watching the show. It is so intense. How did you get into this business?
You know, I've always been an athlete. I was an athlete in school. I ran track. I played sports. I grew up in a low-income environment, so in that sense, we played outdoors a lot. And from there, you know, it just, the bodybuilding and the competing aspects as I got older was intriguing.
Really?
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of people who do this can't imagine not doing it. But they also say that oftentimes female bodybuilders suffer from something called bigorexia. You know, instead of never feeling that they're not thin enough, they always feel that they're not big enough. Is that something that you grappled with?
The unfortunate aspects of, I think, female bodybuilding is it does tend to attract a lot of people that might have emotional issues, maybe. And yeah, I think once you get into the bodybuilding mentality, we're all a little bit OCD. So we do tend to not really be objective with ourselves. And so as time progresses, we don't necessarily see what's in, you know, what other people see. And so for the men, I think it's a little bit more acceptable to just grow, grow, grow. But being a woman, at some point, you definitely have to stop because you will distort your physique.
Right.
And that's where I think a lot of women, unfortunately, they start to their physique gets distorted, and then they become very masculine. And hyper muscular is kind of like what I am, but they go extreme with it.
I'm scared. I've never felt so wimpy in my life. But you look at the competitions and you look at these bodies, and they are, I mean, it's just unbelievable. Bryant, you were the reporter on this story. You know, what did you think about this whole...
Well, it's so fascinating, you know, and Brandy talked about this in the piece, which is when you start to lose a certain aspect of your femininity, you have to dress it right away.
Definitely.
Like you were concerned at the time that your voice was dropping.
And I'm always, and hair growth.
And hair growth.
Because you take steroids?
I do openly take testosterone. To be a woman and take any kind of steroid, you know, you don't just become a man overnight. So it's a long progress of taking stuff, maybe even abusing stuff, not letting your body rest.
What's also interesting and sad about it is, and Brandy can speak to this better than I can, which is despite all the sacrifices people like Brandy make, you're not going to get rich doing this sport. The women are woefully underpaid.
And then I think the story took an even stranger turn when you talked about something called muscle worship. There are guys out there who fetishize, is that the right word?
Yeah.
Women with extremely muscular physiques. They're called schmoes?
That's what I think a lot of the women call them schmoes. I think it's a bit derogatory to consider somebody who maybe appreciates a muscular physique to call them a schmo. But yeah, a lot of the female bodybuilders, in order to supplement income for their sport, they have to do what I guess is a muscle worship session where they meet guys and the guys can rub on their muscles.
Or they do it online.
Or, yes,
they can do it online,
and
they can request the bodybuilder to do certain poses for them,
right,
and
if
they
they
pay
like,
for that.
Yeah, if they like thighs, they'll do that. If they like biceps, you'll do that. And I had no idea this whole world existed. It is freaky.
It's freaky, but it's lucrative.
It was a fascinating piece. And can you imagine sort of not doing this? I mean, at 35, are you going to become a school teacher or something?
No, I mean, actually, my bodybuilding is my business. I'm an entrepreneur, and
You're going to stick with it, though?
I sure am. Female bodybuilders can go to their well up in their 50s, and they look awesome. So you just have to really measure yourself, keep people around you that are objective, and you have, you know, balance. You have to have some emotional, I think, and self-awareness.
Right, because you have to be concerned about the things that you're taking to build the muscle. Are you worried about the impact they might have on your health in general?
No, I'm very healthy. I'm more, I mean, I get my blood work checked. I have a sports medicine doctor. I mean, I'm very healthy now at 31 than I was even when I was like 18, 19.
Well, before you go, Brandy, will you go ahead and just...
Yeah. They're solid.
I know. And Katie's always had great guns, but these...
Oh, those are all nice.
Not quite like Brandy's, but...
Beautiful. Yes.
Anyway, well, it's so nice to meet you.
Thank you so
And it was,
much.
as I said, a really fascinating piece. Thank you so much for coming by.